All right, everybody, welcome to today's edition of American Jiu-Jitsu Federation's podcast for school owners, by school owners. Our biggest detail that we want to share today is a guest that doesn't need any introduction. My little brother, who is a badass at triangles. Many of you know his work because of his work and the talent that he provides for his students and his community. What we all enjoy about him personally. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself, tell you about himself, how long he's been training, about his school. Maybe he's got some favorite students. Maybe he's got some students he strangles a little bit harder. Without any further introduction, let me go ahead and introduce the man, the myth himself, Mr. Youseph. Welcome, brother.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Damien. So my name's Jason Youseph. I own Carlson Gracie in Irvine, California. Been training Jiu-Jitsu for almost 17 years now, and started off in MMA. Had a bunch of MMA fights to start off, and then found my way into the world of Jiu-Jitsu. By the time that I discovered what Jiu-Jitsu really became, I just kind of immersed myself in it.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, excuse me.
No worries, it's just us.
And it really became something when the tournaments actually started becoming like every weekend. I just had so much fun and just wanted to go out and compete as often as I could, and just really enjoyed it. I love the people, the atmosphere, what Jiu-Jitsu really became, So I've had a fair share of competitions out there. And
what year did you get started? Was your a white belt? What year was this for everybody else? Is a nightmare.
2007.
2007. So
yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu is huge at this point. California Jiu-Jitsu, if a lot of people that are listening don't realize, it offends you when we say we are the Mecca outside of Brazil, but I think we're even rivaling Brazil, and that's where this level of American Jiu-Jitsu is ready to step up and make this about Jiu-Jitsu. Again, we always lead with no offense to the Brazilians or the wrestlers or judo people, but we're 100% Jiu-Jitsu focused on the submissions and the submissions that matter. And what that ultimately means is, we get very excited for throws, but we almost all cheer for the submission. And, we talk to the man himself. What is your favorite submission? I know the answer, but it needs to come from you.
So definitely my favorite submission by far is going to be a triangle choke. I think, funny enough, anytime I've competed, I've always heard from my opposing corner is always, watch the triangle choke, And, even though triangle chokes are my favorite, I have a very big secret favorite that I've been working on for the last couple of years is going to be wrist locks. So if you see me out there, just watch the wrist locks. I'm really calling for them. I'm going after everybody for them.
So one of the things we haven't got to mainly about the school owners events that we're trying to get promoted and exposed, we call it call your shots. And what that ultimately means is when you're that good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you're going to hit the thing.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I think that's another layer of what American Jiu-Jitsu and the pride we have in this country of being that good. When you're that good, it doesn't matter. And I'd like to think of Hadra in that moment of how many people have gotten cross-choked.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a certain level of Jiu-Jitsu that you can actually... you can start calling what you want. Like, you can roll with that guy and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to Kimura him. Or you could say, you know what, let's not take... You could say no triangles, no arm bars, no cross chokes, and say the only thing I can do is this. And I guarantee you can call that. You can feel so comfortable that you can do what you want to somebody, even though if they practice or train for years on end. So to me, yeah, absolutely. I think you can absolutely call your shots. And I think that'd be a great idea if somebody can get like an award bonus, like, hey, I called.
Oh no, it's a cash bonus. That's the biggest thing about what I think our community can bring to the table.
Absolutely.
And years ago, we did a fight for cash kind of deal, and I caught a lot of heat for paying white belts. But I think everybody deserves to be rewarded. No offense to the medals, they're cute. Yeah. You can show the wife, the girlfriend, baby, I got a beautiful paperweight. Yeah. But it's nice to have spent, the time training and have a monetary bonus at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I would rather fight for money all day long. I don't know why. And This is not to diss on anybody that likes to compete. I've competed for years on end. I have spent thousands, and I mean thousands of dollars traveling the entire United States, competing at competitions. I was competing every other weekend all across the states, and I can tell you that I've spent thousands on airplane, food, hotels, trying to find friends in cities. You're like, oh, hey, can I stay with you for a night? You know, I'm spending all this money, and all I get at the very end of the day is a medal that costs, you know, IBJJF maybe like $3, you know, at most. And so, you know, it's a nice reward. You're like, wow, it's a sense of accomplishment. But at the end of the day, you're spending all this money. So to me, I'd rather go fight for somebody that says, hey, listen, I'm going to even pay. It doesn't even matter if it's $100.
Right.
I'd rather not pay a registration fee, win $100. At least I'm paid for my time. Yeah. But, you know, when you get to the levels and somebody invites you in and they say, hey, we're going to, you know, give you a couple $1,000s to fight this guy, you're going, yeah, it makes sense. That's why you don't see some of these guys, once they make it to the bigger leagues where they're getting paid for their time, they're not wasting their time in IBJJF or any organization for that matter, because nobody wants to spend $150 to register for something, and then 2 days notice they're like, oh, by the way, your fight time is this. That's my biggest beef with organizations is like, there's not enough time to prepare. Like, you want me to travel across the country, and on 2 days notice, you want to tell me what my time is, or you want to tell me or give me a tentative time, and then the day of you change the entire schedule and extend it, you know? So now my flights have to change, and there's no way for me to prepare if I'm traveling this far, you know? I got stuck in Chicago where I had students, they were supposed to compete on Saturday. On Friday, we all flew in, and on Friday night, they updated the entire calendar, and then they got pushed back to Sunday, and they were supposed to leave Sunday. I had to pay because I felt bad. I brought all these students with me. I paid for the one student to actually fly back, you know, on Sunday afternoon or on Sunday night, so she could compete Sunday morning. So I paid for that out of my pocket because I couldn't expect her to spend like $400 or $500.
You know, upgrades cost.
So it's just like there's no when it comes to tournaments, like, make money. You should be making money. You know. Well, white belt or not, I think you should absolutely be making money. It's worth it. You're putting on a show for people. Like, you are putting on the show. You are the artist. It's a performance. And to me, it's like, you're gonna go out there and do your best, but you're gonna pay to get injured. That doesn't make sense to me.
No. And that takes us to that part of what the Federation wants to provide. More importantly, for school owners, by school owners, the professors are never taken care of. And at the end of the day, we're business owners that close our businesses to our students, close our businesses to people that may want to stop by and sign up. So however we categorize that or even discuss the loss, it's a monetary hit every time we're gone for 12 hours on a Saturday. So step one of many in the Federation is to make sure the professors and school owners are covered for their time. Secondly, the students, like you mentioned, a lot of people that don't compete don't realize you don't know who you're fighting. And Lord forbid they've rigged the brackets to where that guy gets a bye, if not 2 byes, by the time it's the semis. The way this thing, and I want to hear your opinion, are you comfortable with it only being 4 people and everybody fights everybody for a set amount of time? You're in my academy now, and I haven't had the privilege of going to yours, but the idea, even in this space, it would be 2 sets of matches going at the same time, same amount of time, and everybody ultimately fights everybody. There's no fake rest time, and ultimately that's the next format that we want to launch with, best of the best. You know who you're fighting, you know how long you're fighting, and the best guy or girl will win. Are you comfortable with any of that?
I love it because honestly, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you guys all the truth, and you know, you can mark my words on this, and I can tell you exactly who's behind it, who's responsible for it. I've seen it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears. I was there watching the brackets being made for IBJJF at the World Championships, where I personally knew 2 people that they used to train at the same school. I'm not going to put the names out there, but you can mark my words that this happened. 2 people trained at the same school. They were really good friends growing up through Jiu Jitsu. They both became black belts. One of the guys moved out of state, start training here, and he went to go sign up for the World Championships. And I'm not making this up by any means. his instructor knew, hey, if you really want to do this, he went over to the IBJJF and he had a hand in picking the bracketing seats.
Yeah.
And so he literally put in the bracket seat his new student, right, against his old friend, first seed. And it's like they literally end up having a phone call going, hey, what's up with this? Like, why are we have to fight each other? And he's like, dude, I'm already here. I'm already in the area. Please, like, they're literally talking back and forth as friends, saying, look, dude, like, if you have to fly all the way out here to fight me first round, that's like, it made it so awkward.
Right.
You know, the one guy didn't end up showing up, and it's like, but his instructor literally put him in a really bad position. But the fact remains that IBJJF does not select by random the bracketing. They literally have a hand in picking who's going to fight who, and that's my biggest problem. I don't like that, because it's like, that's why you always see Buchecha and Rodolfo at the end, or you see Buchecha and Gaval at the end. Why couldn't you see that up front? Why won't that happen? Because they want to control the outcome of who's going to win, and so they give you the number one seed against the last seed. But they picked it for the black belt adult division, and I've seen it, and I know.
I mean, I will second this. I won't pretend like, in all my years of being there, watching the people go behind the curtain, Andre, I mean, it's not that I'm throwing Andre under the bus, but we all know who this guy is in the Federation. Love you, bro. Nothing personal. And I'm not going to keep throwing a bunch of people under the bus, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of been my deterrent after so many years, and I'll be the first to say I've gotten some privileges as well. I mean, there was years I wasn't getting weighed, so
nice.
I mean, I'm just being honest. A lot of people know these stories where the first year I was overweight. One year I got DQ'd. I was 18 pounds over, but I had never been weighed at that point. This is brown belt.
Wow.
Yeah. Up until this point, I'd never seen a scale. Thank you, Fabio. Again, it just depends on who you train with. You get a lot of perks, and where we are in this industry, we are now the seat at the table as instructors, professors, business owners. You have black belts under you, people that love you, trust you, stayed with you. And the big thing we leave out of what we do is loyalty. Like, I love the fact that your guys will show up for you, represent for you. Again, it's a lot of respect to Carlson and what they've provided, but at the end of the day, it's really you who's there. And I've coached against you. I love it. I know that my guys are going to get the best experience because they are fighting a guy who's really prepared. You know, no offense to the schools that don't have your level of talent, but I don't enjoy watching my guys, to your point earlier, just go out and mop somebody. And that brings us back to this level of in-house tournament status. You know your guys that are, hey, he's a hobbyist, a guy's in once a couple of weeks, but he's never going to compete in Federation. But now, if I've got a guy that way, why not? Why not you guys? Because I got some guys here that train from Amazon. Those dudes aren't killers, but you know what? You'd have a good time. It's not life or death. You're in a safe space. And we can control all of those things ultimately to make the students the priority. And if that works for you, what else could you add other than, you know, our rule system is very easy. It's only mount, knee on belly, and back. No offense to the guard passers. You guys are living your best dreams, but if you never put yourself in a dominant position, what did you achieve? And sadly, the submission ratios are so low, it's an advantage in the guys are gold medalists. My best example, and I posted this recently, Cyborg versus Bottos. Everybody was on their feet. Bottos pulled guard in the last 30 seconds and won. I don't know if you've seen it, but I did post it. And it was the immediate reality. Both of you guys are world champions.
100%.
And that, no offense, I you know, at the end of the day, test your jiu-jitsu.
You know, the way I came up, my master always told me, I don't care if the guy's got your back, I don't care if he's past your guard or mounted you, you find a way to finish the fight. If you're not trying to finish the fight at all costs, he literally would tell me, he's like, you're wasting my time. He's like, you want me to drive all the way out there to watch you win by a guard pass? He's like, I'm not excited. He told me one day, he goes, okay, you know, I was a brown belt, and he goes, you want to be a black belt? I was like, well, of course, you know, once you've got the taste of, you know, getting promoted, you know, you finally want to get there. And he says to me, he goes, it's great you can beat that guy. He's like, he's like, it was great you passed his guard. He's like, but did you win? And I was like, no. And he's like, did you submit him? I was like, no. And he's like, then why are we even having this discussion
Right.
of you moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Or you want to test yourself to a higher level if you can't even submit the guy that
At your division.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, it made me really think like, okay, so then I was always an offensive fighter, and then I really became more submission oriented because of the way my master has always taught me.
Yeah.
And it really, I think actually one of my favorite compliments I've ever gotten was a teammate of mine actually came up to me. He's like, Jason, I hate watching you compete. And I go, why? He goes, because you always lose in the first like 30 seconds to a minute. And I was like, what do you mean losing? He goes, you're always down on points. And I was like, okay. And then he goes, but then you finish him. I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter if he passes my guard. Yeah, I was like, but it was a nice compliment because it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter if he passes my guard because why do I care if he passes my guard if I know I'm setting him up for a wrist lock, a baseball choke, a triangle, a Kimura, whatever. Right. So I'm like, in my perspective, when jiu-jitsu really becomes something that you're so comfortable that you can allow somebody to pass your guard and play defensively and still be offensive as well as being defensive. I have a guy that I train with from Gracie University. He comes to my school and trains with me, and dude, he lets me pass his guard all the time, and then he hits me with this cheap sweep like as I pass his guard into side control. He literally gator rolls me off to the side, and I'm going like, dude, he lets me pass, hits me with the same sweep, and I have to learn, okay, can't allow him to do this.
Right.
And then once he realized, okay, I've learned how to stop the sweep, now he's being more offensive, but then he plays with this with everybody. He allows people to pass his guard. He allows people to mount him, and then he bumps them off. He escapes. There's an elegance in having that much control and having that ability to allow somebody to pass your guard and still feel comfortable that you can still beat them. And that's what I love about it. I love when jiu-jitsu can be like that. It's an art. It really is. So
and I like that you segue to our tagline. Jiu-jitsu is art, and I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. I hate when people say it's a sport. And mainly because there's an element of danger. Like, I think it's very honorable, but there's no sport where the guy's literally trying to break your arm.
Nope.
And there's no sport that the guy is going to get rewarded for breaking your arm.
No.
And there's no sport where at the end of the day, putting somebody to sleep is the task. Like, I'm not triangle choking you for you to tap. I'm literally hoping you tap before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to squeeze till you go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when people in our world keep trying to make this something fashionable by saying it's a sport, I think we're going to lose our target audience, which is people like yourself who really embody what we do by living the dream, competing at the dream, building other people. This is the only martial art that you really get to train with your instructor. And I'm blasting everybody in that. Your boxing coaches, I love the Mayweather camp, but Floyd's not in there taking punches.
No.
You go down to Muay Thai, that guy that's leading that thing's not taking kicks.
No, not at all.
And very few other arts have that level of whatever the professor provides, he's willing to show you. And by show you, he's going to put that gi on or no gi and show up and make you understand why you're in that building.
I agree.
I use a saying every day, you don't train here because your team sucks. You train here because you're learning.
Correct.
If you walk in, whatever your skill set is, and you tap everybody as a white belt, I don't know that you're in the right space.
Yeah. And I can tell you with black belts on a daily basis, and my school on a daily basis, anywhere between 3 and 8 black belts a night can be there. The fact is like you're getting better as a white and a blue and a purple belt because you're training with black belts on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But if you go to a higher level school where like Bottos or AOJ or wherever, they are not necessarily better than you just because they train there. It's what you take from your class every day when you show up. So it really matters what you put in and what you get back. And funny when you say, this is an art. I have actually a really. To me, this is my personal philosophy. When we, at the end of the day, when we clean the mats, I tell all my students, you want to get promoted, there's one way of getting promoted. You got to learn how to clean the mats. You got to clean them the way I clean them. And the reason why is because we are martial artists. So the big word here is artist.
Wait. You and the team clean the mats?
No. I have, normally I will clean the mats.
Okay.
And then I will teach them how to clean the mats. So normally they will volunteer at the end of class.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, I go, we are martial artists, keyword artist.
Right.
You as an artist, this is your canvas.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the artist typically cleans his workstation.
Yeah.
And he prepares tomorrow for the artwork he will perform tomorrow. So tonight we will clean our station, we will clean our canvas, and we will wipe away all the bad jiu-jitsu, We'll clean away all the bad jiu-jitsu that we practice, and tomorrow we will come back for the better you tomorrow. So we will perform better jiu-jitsu tomorrow. We will make better art tomorrow. And so that's my big thing is, I always teach that to my students.
You have to press that again for us. You're good though. That's why we have so many going. But no, I love this story, and I want to really expand on that, because sadly here, it's not that I don't let people do it. I just love your version of making them connected to the holistic reality of what we do. Because this is, one of the things people say, do you wash your belt? Do you wash your belt?
No.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I've done martial arts 45 years. And unfortunately, your generation's opened the door to social media, and people are like, you gotta wash your belt. And I'm like, so you're dirty? Because I shower before, after.
Yes.
And other than people that grab my belt, it doesn't make much skin contact.
Yes.
And to your point of cleaning the canvas, like I have some crazy stuff that I clean the mats with, that MRSA, AIDS, HPV. I only know this because I read the bottle damn near every day. Like, oh, it really does kill it. That's a great concept that you've introduced, that like people are aware of actually what is going on to make their environment safe. Yeah. So if you don't mind, expand on that for me.
Yeah. So the main reason why I do that is because, or I explain it in that way, is because I want them to really connect with what they're doing. They're not here to learn how to fight. They're not here to learn how to, be a competitive jiu-jitsu person. They're here to be the better them. And so my thing I tell my students all the time is, I want the better you today. So tonight when you go home, I want you to plan for tomorrow, and I want you to bring me the best you tomorrow, because my students expect the best of me, so I'm expecting the best of them. So what I want them to do is really connect with, when they come to class, I want the better them. How am I going to get the better them? I want the martial artist out of them. I want the artist mindset out of them, not the fighter mindset. Like when I have the guy that comes in, he wants to be a knucklehead. Cool. I can throw you to the floor and rough you up, but that's not going to do nothing. I want the best version of you. And the best version of you is when you're cleaning the mats, you're thinking about all the jiu-jitsu that you trained that day, and you're thinking of all the rounds you put in and all the mistakes you made. And that is what's getting them to really think, like, okay, like I see the people that clean the mats. Wow. I see them. Wow. Actually, no lie. This is, to me, it's a fact. Whoever cleans the mats are typically the better person, people in the class. They are the better jiu-jitsu practitioner. They're the better person. The people that you could see them, because obviously the mats don't lie. You can see the ones that try to escape out of class before the mats clean, and it's like they don't want to do the work. But there's a beauty to cleaning the mats. There's an elegance behind it, and it's a finesse. There's so many great things like happen when you clean the mats, because you appreciate it more. And I love cleaning the mats, actually. It's a satisfying feeling when you see all the mats cleaned after it's been, roughed up and dirty, So,
well, these are brand new, so we haven't got there. They're literally a month old, but to your point.
They're very nice, actually. It's super clean. I love it.
To your point, though, when you see them shine, and like I use a 60-inch mop, which for people that can't do math, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, super nice.
That always goes back to our ultimate subject. Nothing against federation or in commercial grade competitions, but you're probably in a more safer environment in somebody's school as opposed to the mats. I don't know if those mats have ever been cleaned. Jokes aside, like I've had students come back with ringworm from IBJJF, and my feelings aren't hurt if you guys have something to say about that.
I've never seen anybody clean it. But I've seen tournaments when you're competing and you're the last guy, they're starting to disassemble, and you're like, who's cleaning them first? Like, nobody's cleaning these things. Nobody. I've never seen it. And then people are like, no, we clean it when we get back to home. And you're like, sure you do. So
you've been here since 3 a.m. because I've thrown tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
And, you've got to get in hours early. Yeah. Not only to set up your mats, but to get your tables in, wait for your volunteers. Yeah. In my case, it's food for people, paying people. And it's not easy for the promoters. So I respect their gangster, but by the same token, I want to bring that back to make it beneficial to our students. Is ultimately my goal.
Yes.
Like I want people to love what you and I have experienced. I think competition is not necessary. Let me make that clear for the people that may get offended. Like, oh, you got to compete. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying if you love what you do, you believe in your professor, you love your teammates, that loyalty factor kicks in, and you're willing to risk 5 minutes of your training, there's no better way to validate what you've achieved.
Correct.
And I want people to understand the in-house motivation, and again, like you said, the monetary benefits.
Yeah.
So for us, just to make it clear, there's 2 qualifying rounds. So a student, people can't see this, but on the page where they register, that $75 is for ultimately minimal 2 tournaments. So you have 2 qualifying rounds, and ultimately you will have somebody that never lost, and you will have people that have onesies and twosies. If not, sadly, there will be some people that go 0-3. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But you're not out.
No.
Those
but
people,
I'd rather also have the experience of more matches
Yes.
than you pay $150, done 1 round.
Right.
People fly all across the country to fly in for 1 tournament.
Right.
Of the world.
Yeah.
They're flying all over the world just to show up to nationals, pans, worlds, whatever, and they're gone first round. All that, thousands upon thousands of dollars out the door.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 3-4 matches. That'd be fantastic. That's, to me, that'd just be more fun.
And that's where the benefit of giving back to them, the 2 qualifying rounds, even if you won, and to your point, you're not paying anything extra. So the guys that are still winning, you don't have to qualify anymore.
Yeah.
Once you've won your first one, it's up to you if there's still some people, like it would be the seeds. If we end up with hypothetically 8 people that all have wins, then yes, you are now qualifying for the finals, which is the cash rounds. But you know, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see more guys like you that don't lose, fight guys that really are going to push you, because I think that's literally how my jiu-jitsu, like I got my black belt in 5 years from Fabio.
Nice.
2003 to 2008 was my black belt. But to your earlier statement, like, he didn't give a damn if he won by points. He literally would ignore me and walk away.
Yeah.
You know, because I did a lot of tournaments by myself, like at John Wayne Airport in a parking lot in a tent. And I think it was Joe Morera. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm like, bro. I mean, I got some comedy stories.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I'm here by myself. It's hot, and the guy was a judo black belt. He went to throw me. I took his back, and that's basically how it ended. I think I fought him twice. I choked him in the second round. But yeah, Fabio never cared if you won by points.
Yeah.
And I think that was like his subliminal way of saying, like, if you ever want to get promoted, you better win.
Absolutely.
And you better win by submitting these people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, his reputation precedes him, and a lot of people that don't know him, I don't know what to tell you, but, you know, at the end of the day, our ultimate focus for us as professors, school owners, business owners, is to make sure our students have the very best experience in this lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle. It's not like a belt thing and you're out. Like, this is the mafia, for lack of better words. You don't get out because you get a black belt.
Yeah.
Like, I want people to understand that's your time to give back. Like, my black belt's at, one of them's a lawyer, the other one has a huge career as well. They're not competitors, but your job now is to be here for these lower belts.
Correct.
And help them see the difference from, you know, hey, I want to do the crazy new stuff, the worm guard stuff. And I'm like, you know, one of our guys fought the worm guard guy, and like, ultimately, sadly, it didn't work.
Yes.
You know, and I want them to understand the quality of not old school versus new school, but there's quality jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You can be good at what you do. It's very hard to transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we both lived through the Berimbolo phase, which is no longer a thing. Like,
No.
my jiu-jitsu's so old. I remember when De La Hiva was a thing.
Oh yeah, De La Hiva's tougher to deal with than Berimbolas. Berimbolas, you smash them down.
I get very impressed when it works. I'm like, wow, that's a magician.
Yeah.
That's a legit magician,
Yeah.
because you see this thing coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like De La Hiva where you've lost a sleeve.
Yeah.
Now there's a foot between your leg, and now you're being elevated, rocked, and shit's going bad for you. But this dude literally rolls on his upside down. You're like, what? Like, yeah man, grab something.
Oh,
Just stop any of the next anything. I don't know what to tell you to do, but like, there's a lot of opportunity to crush this thing. And crush
absolutely.
it. Drop all the blessings.
Absolutely.
But it was a pleasure to have you. I don't want to keep you here any longer, as much as I enjoy it selfishly. Is there anything else you want to share that you want to really inspire people, or as we get this thing rocking and rolling? We are pushing for June. The dates are still TBA, just so we get everybody announced. At the end of the day, I'd love to have a OC versus LA and ultimately build this thing out to where it's national.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
West Coast versus East Coast, and literally bring the best of the best and really put real money. No offense to boxers, but if you can get 30 million for touching gloves for 36 minutes, maybe we get a couple million. I mean, I think we have more athletes involved. I think we have a larger community. And I say that because there's 200 jiu-jitsu schools in San Diego. There's probably 3 that I can think of boxing gyms.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that one exists because we did a pugilist thing, and it was for a TV show, lo and behold. But I took fighters, and you could punch as long as you had one hand on the stick.
Wow.
So my guys, literally, all we did was practice our boxing, and we won the whole thing.
Wow.
Because it was actors. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, your wife is sitting there. You're a pretty handsome guy. I don't mean that in that way, but they all look like you. They were not fighters.
Yeah, no, they don't look like knuckleheads, right?
And yeah, these meatheads that I brought literally were punching. Like, I'll have to post this for people. We filmed it, but yeah, to that credit, I want to get people more involved in what we do, because I think it is a unique time to learn something that's actually effective, something you can share with your family. No offense, like, you can't box your 14-year-old kid. Like, you can legitimately roll with your child.
Correct, you can. Yes.
And have a good time. You're not really worried. You can tap at any point.
Actually, your 14-year-old child can beat you up now.
I mean, it's a roll. My guy's like $180 and he's a vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah. Oh, he can give you a run for your money by now.
It's not fun now.
No.
And I fear the day that he's a 23-year-old who's been training since he was 2.
Yeah.
And, knows dad's game.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't joined the dad time, I don't know what to wish upon you, because my little girls that train here, they're assassins.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I tell everybody this, and you may see me post that I think women's jiu-jitsu is way better than men's.
I completely agree.
There's no bro code. I just watched Tara's posts where she foot tripped the chick and knocked her out.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
And I literally posted that, and I was like, and this is why women's jiu-jitsu is better.
Oh, yeah. You don't see that in men's jiu-jitsu, and needless to say, you don't see the dexterity, the flexibility, the technical. So for us, we don't have the bone structure that the females have. So they have to be more technical, more precise, more everything, more detailed about everything. And so that to me is what makes women's jiu-jitsu way more exciting, because I see them doing things that we're like, oh, there's no way we're doing that. There's no way.
No. But I say it out loud. I think they're far more violent. And I'm just saying, like, when I see people, if I don't know you, I can't remember the guy's name that I fought from Alliance, but it was an immediate, like, hey, bro, all right, let's have a good time. And there was no animosity to it. But when the women come out, and I'm a big fan of Bia, it's like, I'm going to kill your ass.
Oh, yeah, that's Tara 100% too.
And I mean, again, I met her when she was a blue belt in I think it was a Dream event, and she was the only lady there fighting grown-ass men.
Yep.
And taking no shit from nobody.
Nobody. She beat she did a blue and purple belt.
Oh, wow.
At purple belt, she submitted another purple belt male in the tournament.
Wow.
And it's just like, and not to say that she's not talented. She taps out black belt males all the time. And like,
I won't roll with her just in case she sees this. It's not happening.
Oh no! Listen, I'm good. When she shows up to the gym, I'm always like, oh crap, here we go. This is gonna be a tough roll. She's amazing. She really is. And a lot of people don't realize, women can actually. I have guys in the gym. They're like, there's no way a girl's gonna beat me. And I'm like, yo, Tara.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And just on the man code, if that's still your way of thinking in 2022. Go with God. That's all I can tell you.
Amen.
Go with God. And from the biggest ones, my favorite, Gabby story. I'm at Pans, and people don't move out of the way. Gabby is walking through the bullpen.
Yeah.
And nobody moves. I look back and I see the aisle parting like the Red Sea.
Oh yeah.
And it's Gabby walking through.
Oh jeez.
And I mean, even to this day, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want those issues in my life. Like, I'm comfortable not tapping, just saying I'm that guy. I avoid that shit, and I don't know that it would work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But female jiu-jitsu is really taken up. And I think it's time for them to also get paid equally as well.
Yeah. I mean,
they
why
deserve
not?
it. They deserve it.
Yeah, 100%. And on that note, we will let the professor, Brother Youseph, out of here. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
It's really a huge honor for me, still in Bernardo.
No.
It's a huge honor for me. And stay tuned for everything coming up for the in-house tournaments, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's an absolute
Appreciate it,
honor.
bro.
I appreciate you and everything that you do for your community and your students, and and it's an honor and a pleasure to coach against you in tournaments.
Yeah, it's a blast.
So I know it's always fun when I see you out there. So,
Yeah.
but thank you for having me, man. This is great. Your academy is beautiful.
Appreciate that.
Your students are awesome. So if you're in Mira Mesa, San Diego, Mira Mesa.
Yeah.
Same San Diego, Mira
They
Mesa
can
area.
find us. It's the only primal in the world here.
Yeah, Primal Training Center. Come
Yes,
here
sir.
if you're in the area. Absolutely awesome. Great facility, super clean. Absolutely love it.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you so
Anytime.
much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
That's it.